Hello guys, welcome back to All About ABA. Today we're going to show you how to fill out your experience fieldwork tracker from the Bacb. So we're going to go ahead and go find it. So I'm on just my web browser. I'm going to go to www.bacb.com. Now, there's a couple ways you can find the tracker. I personally found it pretty hard to find just because it used to be more easily accessible on the BCBA and BCABA tabs. Now it's a little harder. So the first way you can find it is by going to either the BCABA or BCBA tabs and clicking apply. And then you go into the handbook and it's in there on one of the pages. But personally, I think the easiest way to do it is when you're on the BACB's website, you click search and then you type in fieldwork tracker. And then it's going to go eventually. All right, here we are. I'm going to click on this link, the Fieldwork Tracker Technical Resources and Issues link. And it says if you experience technical issues with the Fieldwork Tracker, and then if you click Fieldwork Tracker, it's actually going to download one. So I think personally that's the easiest way to find it. Like I said, you can go through the BCBA or BCABA handbooks as well, but I mean, if you just, type it in the search bar, you can find it right here and download it. So I'm going to go to my downloads. Here it is. There it is. Okay, I opened it. Now, here we go. This is what it looks like. You want to make sure that you get version 2.1 or older because the older versions are outdated and also have errors. So this one has some bug fixes and stuff. So you definitely want to make sure you have 2.1 or older. So what I'm going to do now that I have this is I'm going to name it. So you're going to click File Save As, and then maybe you want to name it after your cat. I'll name it after my cat, Nugget, and then I'll be like Nugget Fieldwork Tracker 2021. All right, I'll save it to my desktop. All right, so now I have my name, my cat's name, Nugget Fieldwork Tracker 2021. Got it. All right, perfect. So there are multiple tabs here. There are 6 tabs, and you have to fill out the Instructions tab, the Settings tab, and the Supervisors tab before you go into your Fieldwork Log, or else it's going to error. I personally had an experience where I typed in my Fieldwork Log stuff before stuff on my Supervisors tab, and I got all these errors on my data analysis. I had to send it into the BACB. It was a nightmare. So learn from my mistakes and put your stuff in the first tabs one at a time in order so that you don't encounter that. Okay, so first thing you want to do on the first tab, you have the instructions here. It gives you, the instructions, and it also tells you down here to do the Settings Supervisors tabs before logging hours too. But if you're lazy like me, I just told you so you don't have to read it. So you're welcome. All right, so first, typing my name. I'm going to type in Nugget, my cat's name, and then she's going to go for which one. So you type in, or you actually select down here BCBA or BCABA. So she's going for her BCBA. Will she apply to sit for her examination before January 1st, 2022? Now, this is very important because the option that you click, if you click yes, then you're going to have options like supervised independent fieldwork, practicum, intensive practicum, because those are the current options. However, if you click no, you're going to have just the newer options, which I believe, let's see, yeah, are supervised fieldwork or concentrated supervised fieldwork. And personally, I I'm taking my BCBA in 2021, so I am doing supervised independent field work, but for the purposes of this video, I'm going to select no, because we're almost at 2022 anyway, and I want to be more helpful to you guys that are just now starting to log your hours when you're starting out in grad school, collecting your hours. So, but this tutorial will obviously work for everybody. The differences are that it calculates your hours based on the new requirements from 2022. So if you are taking it after 2022, then it's going to adjust to the new set amount of hours, the new percentages of hours you need supervised, etc. So yeah, it's important that you click the right one, yes or no, to this question, so that the fieldwork tracker logs the hours appropriately for you. Okay, so those are the questions on this tab. Now we're going to go to settings. So this is the information about the fieldwork settings that you're working at. So I'm going to type in the name of the company. So I'll just type company here. Company, I'll type, how about company name, okay? And then now that's a tab that you type it in, and you can also put multiple. So if you work at multiple settings, you need to put every company you work at, or whatever settings. If you work for yourself, whatever you do, put it here. Next, primary emphasis of work. It gives you a drop-down menu. So I'm going to put behavior analysis, but you can put, whichever one of these options applies to you. So I'm going to put behavior analysis. Okay, now we have primary area of work. This is also a drop-down menu. And so you select your most appropriate population or area. So I'm going to put autism. And then primary age group of clients, it's also a drop-down menu. So I'm going to put children, but select whichever one is appropriate for you. So I'm just going to do one setting, but like I said, you can put multiple because it'll all auto-populate in the Fieldwork log later. Okay, so we did the instructions, now we did settings, and now we're going to do supervisors. So you're going to type in first your supervisor's name. So I'm going to put Mowgli, which is my dog's name. Mowgli dog, there we go. Okay, and now you're going to type in your BCBA's or your supervisor's BACB account ID, which is different than their certification number. So you're going to put BACB because that's what it starts with. And then it is, I think, like 6 more numbers. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's their BCBA account ID number. Now, also another mistake that I made was instead of typing my BCBA's certification number in myself, I copied and pasted it into the Fieldwork tracker, which was a huge mistake because it messed up everything. It like broke the tracker, basically. I had to send it in again to the BACB to get it fixed. So learn from my mistakes again, please. Do not copy and paste any of this information and type it in yourself, okay? All right. So now I'm going to type in their certification number. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So you just type in that information that's theirs. And now here's a drop-down menu. What's their qualification? Let's say Mowgli is a BCBA. Okay. Next, when is their date that they were qualified to supervise? Now, you can find this either on their certificate or you can find this on their online certificate registry. And you can find that on the BACB's website. So you can go, here's the website. You can go here and then let's see. I think you can go here to so you go home and then you can click find a certificate. And it's going to take forever to load. Okay, and then You can search them either by the general search where you put in this information for them, like their name and their certification, all this, and their status, or you can put certification number and type it in and find them. Once you type in all this information, it will tell you the date that they were qualified to supervise. So that's how you can do that. Okay, and then you're going to type in the date of your supervision contract. Now, if you cannot start counting your hours until after you have signed a supervision contract. So please, if you haven't done that, you need to stop what you're doing right now and get your supervisor to sit down with you with a supervision contract, go over it and sign it, because none of your hours are going to count until after that date. Okay? So once you have your supervision contract signed, you'll type in whatever date you signed it right here. Okay? And that, so if you have multiple supervisors, you're going to just do the same thing for every single one. So we'll date qualified to supervise, we'll put today. And then we'll put today for the supervision contract as well. So you have to fill in all of this information before you can go to your Fieldwork log. And you type in, like I said, you do the information from the first 3 tabs before you can log your hours on the Fieldwork log tab. Now, here we go. We have filled in all of that information. Now we're ready to start typing in our stuff on the actual Fieldwork log. Now, there's a lot here that we're going to do, and you're going to do this every single day, okay? First, fieldwork type. Which one applies to you? I'm going to choose supervised fieldwork. That's what Nugget is doing, okay? And like I said earlier, whichever one you pick is going to change how it analyzes your data that you put in here, because it's going to adjust it to whichever fieldwork type that you select. So it's very important that you pick the correct one for you. So supervised fieldwork. Now, that's a drop-down menu, so you click on that. And then, next tab, setting. So that's also a drop-down menu. That's going to auto-populate from this tab. So go down, here's company name, that's where we got it. Supervisor, another drop-down tab. That auto-populates from the supervisor's tab. All right, Mowgli Dog is my supervisor. Okay, now here's where we start typing in. Okay, so I'm going to start from, let's say, last week. So I'm going to start from February 8th. Okay, so here's the day that I started. This is the time that I started in the morning. So what I'm going to do is type in the time. So let's say it was 8:30, and then you can you can just leave it there, but you have to make sure that it's the correct AM or PM. So if you don't type that in, it's going to automatically choose one, so make sure it's the right one. So 8:30 AM, let's say your first session ended at 12:30. Okay. Ooh. See, I wrote, what? I don't even know what happened there. Ooh. 12:30. Okay. Okay, let's try that again. Okay. Anyway. All right, let's say your session ended at 12:30 p.m. We have that here. So once you type this in, it automatically starts generating in these columns here. These columns you cannot touch. You see this? I'm trying. It's not letting me do it. I can't touch them. Okay, so this is where you need to start messing with things. So it automatically populates that all 4 hours were restricted. So the restricted hours are the direct hours that you're working with your client or client's present. So let's say you started working at 8:30 before your client got there. So let's say you did 1 hour of indirect work. You did 1 hour of graphing, let's say. So what you can do is just type in, and that's going to go in. Those are considered unrestricted hours. So let's say you did graphing and some literature review. So you did 1 hour of that, you're going to put 1 hour here. And now it automatically edits this. So now we separated our hours that we worked from 1 hour unrestricted where we did our graphing and the lit review. And then it automatically subtracted that hour from your total. And so it says that you worked 3 hours directly under restricted hours, which is correct. So you need to make sure that you're calculating these hours right, so that it's like adding them correctly here. All right, so let's say, okay, so the next column, method of supervision. So let's say you did have supervision this day. So it's gonna give you a drop down menu. So let's say your supervision was face-to-face today. So it's important that you record whenever you have supervision. Either you or your supervisor is going to have to record when your supervision time started and ended so that you can correctly insert it here. So let's say it was from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Okay, so again, it starts automatically populating into these other columns that you cannot touch. So it's important that you're adjusting as needed. So it was from 10 to 11 a.m. You were supervised for 1 hour. Now it automatically puts everything under group supervision hours. So let's say it was just you and your supervisor and your clients. So you're going to have to put 1 hour here because it was just you, and see how that automatically changes this to 0. So making sure that you're doing that correctly here. And then it's going to go down here. Here's another column that's automatically populated. So independent hours, it subtracted the hours, your fieldwork hours, it subtracted these supervised hours from your fieldwork hours to get 3. So you worked 4 total hours, you were supervised for 1, that means you have 3 independent hours, and that's all important for your data analysis later. Okay, last one, or second to last one really, client observation. So were you supervised working with a client during this time? We said yes, so we need to click yes. Okay, and that's also really important for your data analysis because that's going to be one of your fieldwork hours requirements that you're going to have to meet. Okay, and then they have a little section for fieldwork notes. On the BACB's website, they tell you that you can put things that you need to remember, things that are relevant, like it says, relevant to the time. Personally, I like to kind of make an abbreviated list of the things that I did during my supervised, or during my fieldwork time period. I kind of like to make a little schedule throughout the day so that I can easily reference it if needed. So under here, I'm going to put, so the first thing we did in the day from 8:30 to 9:30, I did some graphing, then literature review, and then I did one-to-one therapy with client A, and then I'll put with supervision by BCBA 1, okay? So I kind of like to just jot down the things that I did that day. All right, so that's one example of how to fill that out. And let's do one for no supervision. So we go, again, we're gonna pick the same fieldwork type. Make sure you do that every time. And then we're gonna click the setting. And so it's the same setting, but if like I said earlier, if you have multiple settings, then you need to select the correct one. Same with supervisor. So I have the same one here. And let's say this was the next day. Okay. And then let's say I worked from 10 a.m. to 4 o'clock p.m. Let's say it was all restricted, so it was just one long direct session, and then it automatically, like I said earlier, automatically goes to restricted, so you just put 0 for unrestricted. Now we go to a method of supervision. I didn't have supervision this day, so I'm going to put no supervision session. So now you can leave these columns blank because you did not have supervision. Okay, and then it's going to automatically populate here supervised hours 0. Okay, and then you're going to leave these blank. And then client observation, you can leave it blank, or you can put no. I like to fill it in. I don't know why. So let's just say for our notes, I did 1-to-1 therapy with client B. Okay. All right. Oh, therapy. Okay. So that is how you fill this out. So yes, like it says here, be sure to make sure that you select all these things, even if supervision did not occur. Okay? You need to fill these things even if supervision did not occur. So now we're going to go to data analysis. So here is where it tells you a really nice summary of the data that you've inputted in your fieldwork log, and it's keeping track of everything that you need to keep track of, and it does all of the math for you, which is amazing. So we've only logged in data from February for 2 days, so it's not going to show very much, but once you keep adding more, it'll go down. So I can put in maybe a couple dates in March. So let's just do that really quick. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so let's go to data analysis, see how it went down to March. I just made that as a quick example. But here you go. So it's going to show you the year, which is 2021, excuse me. Here's the month, February, March. Here's the fieldwork type. So we did supervised fieldwork both times. Okay, and now it's generating the data from February and from March combined. So the amount of independent hours we had in February were 9. How many hours was I supervised? 1. Here was the total number of fieldwork hours, which is the number of independent hours plus supervised hours. So that's correct. That's 10. How many unrestricted hours did I have in February? I had 1 from that first day. How many supervision contacts? 1, because I just had put 1 supervision in there that time, and 1 client observation right here. Number or percentage of fieldwork supervised. So because it's 1 hour out of the 10 total, it's 10%. So 1 out of 10, it does the math for you. Like I said, it would do the same thing for the group supervision if we had that, okay? So it's going to do that for all of the dates and hours you put in for each month. And then over here is where it's going to adjust for you. So here, it's going to adjust. So per the BACB rules, you can only insert a maximum of 130 hours per supervisory period, which is 130 hours per month. So if you worked 170 hours this month and that's how many you logged, it's going to automatically adjust it to 130 here because you can't put in more than 130 per month. That's why it's adjusted. It's based on compliance with the fieldwork requirements, okay? And it's going to do the same thing. It's going to do all of the work for you here, and it's all accumulated, and it also tells you the percent of the unrestricted fieldwork hours that you did, plus the total, so you can keep track because you're going to have to do 50% per the requirements. Okay, and then the other cool part here is the audit categories. So it tells you basically everything. It shows you if anything's wrong, so that it may flag a mistake that you put in by just like a data entry mistake, or it'll let you know that you need to do something. You need either more supervision, you need more hours, or you need more client contacts, you need something. It's going to let you know. So we can go over these right now. So all of these showed up here because we have a lot of stuff missing and stuff like that. So let's go to the audit categories. All right, so it goes A through H. Okay, so here we go. It's going also, because we selected the the supervised fieldwork option, it's going to be adjusted to whichever option you chose. So if you were watching this and you're tracking your hours for supervised independent fieldwork or practicum or whatever before 2022, it's going to look different as percentage and hour totals than it does for the post 2022 changes, just so you know. The fieldwork will automatically adjust these criteria to whatever is fit for you. All right, so here's section A. The trainees need to sign a contract with a supervisor, and they need to be qualified to supervise before accumulating hours. So you have to accumulate your hours after you sign a supervision contract, or else it's going to flag you. So you need to make sure you have that already in there. If you're audited for B, that means that you need to accumulate at least 20 hours per month per supervisory period, or 130 maximum. So it flagged us on there for that one on the data analysis because we had less than 20 for each month that I had plugged in because I was just putting in examples. So you need at least 20. If you have less than 20 per month, then it's not going to count. And if you have over 130, the hours over 130 are not going to count. Okay? Now, for C, you need to have a minimum percent of the fieldwork hours accumulated in the presence of a supervisor. So here it shows you the supervised fieldwork, you need 5% of your hours supervised. For the concentrated, you need 10%. So based on your data and the data analysis, it'll flag you if you are not meeting these percentages. All right, and then D, trainees may not accumulate more than 50% of their supervised hours in a group format each month. So if you are always getting group supervision, it's going to flag you in your data analysis. It's going to let you know that you're going to need to start getting more individual supervision hours because you can't have more than 50% of your supervision hours in a group or else they will not count. Okay. Next one, you need to have a minimum number of contacts with supervisors each month. So this is different per fieldwork type. Supervised fieldwork is 4 contacts per month. Concentrated is 6 contacts per month. So it's going to flag you if you don't have enough. And like we had said before, it's not going to count if you don't have at least that minimum number of contacts. Letter F, you need to have a minimum number of times that you're observed working with a client per each month, which is the supervisory period. So both of them, the supervised fieldwork and the concentrated supervised fieldwork, you need at least 1 observation per month where you're supervised with a client. Or else your hours are not going to count that month, which would suck. So make sure you get at least 1 with the client. Okay. G, trainees must accumulate 60% or more of your total fieldwork hours while engaged in unrestricted activities. So I think I said 50% before, and that was based on the previous requirements from prior to 2022. So yes, so now if you're working from past January 1st, 2022, you're going to need to follow this. So you need at least 60% or more in unrestricted activities. So make sure you are doing that. And on the BACB's website, they have a huge list of the examples of unrestricted activities that you can engage in to meet those hours. Okay, last one. H, trainees must accrue a set number of fieldwork hours with concentrated supervised fieldwork having 1.3 times the temporal value of supervised fieldwork. So basically, you need at least 2,000 hours or the 750 for concentrated. So you're going to have to make sure you're meeting the amount of hours, the minimum amount of hours for whatever fieldwork type that you have chosen to do. And so you're likely going to have G and H there for until you meet your hours. That's my experience. I had that forever and ever until I was able to get all my hours done, because it's going to take you a while to meet those criteria. But if you have any of the other ones, you're going to have to either adjust something, fix an error, you're going to have to get more supervision, or find a solution so that your hours will count, okay? So yeah, that is how you use your fieldwork tracker. And now I'm going to show you just a little tip on what to do if you're having any issues. So you can go to the BACB's website. I'm going to go home. Okay, and if you're having issues, type in up here fieldwork tracker, fieldwork tracker, like we did earlier. I cannot type right now. Fieldwork tracker. It's taking forever to load again. Okay, and now we have fieldwork tracker, technical resources and issues. We're going to click that. Okay. And then the first step, it says if you experience technical issues with it, review the Fieldwork Tracker Issues Resource Guide. So try to find it'll tell you kind of like some FAQs, common errors and stuff like that and how to fix them. There's a couple videos they have that you can watch. And then you can also, if all of that stuff, if you've tried all of these resources and you still are having issues, then you can submit a form here with if you select your forms, it'll say like nugget, and then their BCB ID, which we'll do like this, and then nugget@gmail.com. All this is just based on my cat. We'll do yes. So okay, so this is the form. You can type in your information. What are you finding? Oh, I have this. I keep seeing this error here. Okay, and then I'll give a description really quick. Blah 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 blah, and then it'll upload the file for review. So, if your file isn't super big, you might be able to put it here and send it to them. However, when I had to send it to them, my file, I already had a lot in there, so my file is pretty large, and it was too big. So if you can see, it can't exceed 3 megabytes or whatever that means. And so I had to just submit a screenshot of it, and then I told them in this box here that, like in this description, that my file was too big and asked if I could email it. And so they emailed me, and then they gave me an email to send my tracker to, and then they emailed me back with it. So if that happens to you, put a little description here and send them an email so that they can fix it for you. But I've heard of a lot of people having issues and sending it and getting it back without problems. A lot of times they can just fix the formatting or whatever you need. I've had to fix mine twice, and they've been really good about it. So don't worry if that happens. It's not the end of the world. But make sure, like it says up here, you need like 2 weeks for them to review your question. Most of the time it's a lot faster than that, but just make sure that you're not like waiting till the very last minute before you want to like submit your hours to apply. Give yourself plenty of time if you have problems to submit an error. And that is it for the tracker stuff. I will see you guys in the outro. And that's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. I hope you really enjoyed learning about how to input your hours on the Fieldwork Tracker. It can be a lot, but you can do it. Also, one thing I wanted to mention was please make it a habit to do it as much as you can every single day if you can. If not, at least once a week so that you don't get super behind and it takes you forever to input it all at one time. So what I do is I set a reminder on my phone to do it every single day. And I know some people set their reminders for every week, so do whatever is best for you. So like I said, give us a thumbs up. Follow us on Instagram at all.about.aba for more awesome ABA content. And subscribe if you haven't already. All right, guys, stay on your best or worst behavior.